The obsession for a horror movie franchise has gone rampant as a mad killer decides to kill a woman and her sister's friends to breathe life into a new horror movie, Scream 5. The film takes place 20 years after the events of the first movie. It takes us back to Woodsboro and starts out with Tara, a high school student who finds herself alone one night at home, texting her best friend Amber. A stranger suddenly calls her, which mirrors the events of the first film. After asking questions on several horror movies, the caller eventually reveals itself as a threat, apparently cloning Amber's phone and threatening to kill her if Tara doesn't play along with the game. The killer, in a Ghostface mask, then shows up and violently attacks Tara. Somewhere in California, Sam, Tara's estranged and distant sister, receives the news from Wes, Tara's boyfriend, that Tara has been attacked. She makes the trip, along with her boyfriend, Richie, to visit Tara in the hospital. We are then introduced to Tara's friends, Amber, the twins, Mindy and Chad, Liv, and Wes, all of whom will play pivotal roles as the film progresses. On the way to Woodsboro, Sam gives Richie a crash course on the stab movies based on the events of the first film, and how each decade some psychopath wants to create the events of the movie in search for fame or whatnot. Sam finally arrives home and sees Tara for the first time in years. Although they are happy to see each other, Sam's visit does stir up some tension between themselves and Tara's friends. The friends then discuss Sam's motives for coming back, particularly Amber, who is protective of Tara and has some personal conflict with Sam. During the first night of Sam staying with Tara, we see that Sam takes medicine for hallucinations that the spirit of Billy Loomis is talking to her. She is then contacted by the killer through Amber's cloned phone, who threatens her, saying that he knows the family secret and warns her that this won't be ending well. Surprisingly, the killer is at the hospital and tries to murder her, but she is able to escape. This causes quite the ruckus at the hospital. The sheriff arrives, having come from a Ghostface murder, to investigate, and is wary of Sam since they seem to have a complicated past when Sam was growing up in Woodsboro. She warns Sam to just leave Woodsboro to those who actually care about keeping it safe. After this, Sam reveals to Tara the secret that caused friction between her and the family. Sam tells Tara the truth, that when she was young, she opened her mother's diary to find out that Sam's biological father is not Tara's father, but Billy Loomis, the serial killer of Scream 1. When Sam confronted their mother about this, her father was just behind her and heard the whole thing. This led to their separation, which Sam has burdened the guilt for all these years and why she has been distant for so long. Tara doesn't know how to take the news and tells Sam to leave her alone. Richie consoles Sam and assures her that he will stay by her side. In an attempt to figure out who the killer is, they seek help. Sam and Richie visit Dewey Riley, who has been divorced from Gale Weathers and is no longer an active member of the force. Dewey learns of the new ghost-faced killer from Sam, who is asking for help. Dewey then gives some important insights such as the rules for surviving a stab movie, since the killer seems to be obsessed with the stab movies, and that the motive of the killer is always connected to the past. With the third and most important rule, the killer is almost always part of the victim's friend group. That's all the help Dewey wants to give. So, he sends Sam and Richie out. Dewey then gives a call to the Scream Queen herself, Sydney Prescott. He warns her of the new events taking place in Woodsboro. Despite this warning, he urges her to just stay where she is and not get involved. Dewey then sends an awkward text to Gale, informing her as well of the new killer. He decides to help Sam and shows up at the twins' home. They are children of Martha Meeks, the sister of Randy from Scream 1. During this meeting, the group is able to put together the pieces. The first 3 victims are all connected to the original killers. With all of the information gathered, Sam is the one being accused as the killer, which offends her deeply. Not long after this group confrontation, Ghostface attacks his next victims, Wes and his mother, Sheriff Hicks. While the sheriff is on the road, she receives a call from the killer, threatening Wes. Sheriff Hicks calls for backup and rushes to her home. It is too late, however, as Ghostface is able to kill Wes and the sheriff. Dewey arrives on the scene to see Gale, who is covering the story. With all the history and everything they've been through, there's an uneasy tension between the former lovers. Yet, it is clear that just like in the previous films, they just want to put an end to this madness. At the hospital, with all the officers attending to the sheriff, the killer plans his next move, this time finishing off Tara, eliminating Richie as well. Just as things are getting out of hand, Sam and Dewey arrive on the scene and are able to save the two. After a wild chase, they strike a crucial blow to the killer, knocking him out. As they are escaping away, Dewey can't resist and has to unmask the killer before they leave. Dewey is killed as he does this, with the killer escaping. Dewey's death takes a heavy toll on Sam, Tara, and especially Gale. After learning of Dewey's death, Sydney goes against his wishes and arrives at Woodsboro. She meets Gale and Sam at the hospital, and Sydney reveals why she came back. Sam and Tara have reconciled after all the drama that has happened in their lives and reaffirm their love for one another. Sydney asks Sam for help, but she declines. Sam explains that the best thing for her, Richie, and Tara is to just leave town and to leave all this craziness behind. Unbeknownst to them, Sydney places a tracker on their car. On the way out of Woodsboro, Tara realizes that she left her inhaler at the hospital. Richie is against going back, so Tara suggests that they pass by Amber's house, as she has a spare inhaler there. Amber's house is currently hosting a party, celebrating Wes's life and death. Amber and the twins don't realize that this setting is parallel to the first movie, a house party which ends up being a killing spree for Ghostface. This is realized by Sydney and Gale, since they have been in this situation before. To make things even worse, they realize that this house is Stu's former home, the exact home where the climax of the first film took place. It is indeed true, as the killer is in Amber's house and has killed Chad. Sam, Tara, and Richie arrive at Amber's house. They explain to Amber that they need to get Tara's inhaler ASAP. The party stops, which sets the motion for the final events of the film to take place. As she's watching the first stab film, Mindy is attacked by Ghostface, which leaves her gravely injured. Sam finds Mindy stabbed and wounded, just as Amber and Tara arrive, which leaves them suspicious. Richie and Liv also arrive, and there is now a blame game as to who the killer is. Amber then pulls out a gun, shooting Liv in the head, revealing herself as the killer. Richie and Sam escape to the basement, leaving Tara upstairs. Richie then reminds Sam to be careful, as there are always two killers. He floats the idea that Tara could be one of the killers and plays around their fractured relationship throughout the years. Sam, however, doesn't buy it. Sydney and Gale arrive at the house where Amber is faking an injury. Sydney doesn't buy it, calling it a trap. Amber pulls out her gun and shoots Gale. Sydney enters the house, which is nostalgic to say the least. Armed with her own gun, she tries to find Amber and the second killer. Sam finds Tara in a closet all tied up and has doubts on whether Tara is the killer or not. She ends up finding Sydney, Richie, and Amber in a scuffle, which Richie stabs Sam, revealing himself as the second killer.
That really was the best choice for the movie.
They are brought to the kitchen where Amber and Richie explain their motive. Richie and Amber are Stab fans that met online, and they were disgusted with how the sequels of the franchise turned out. They attribute this to the fact that the source material for Stab was only really meant for one movie. In an attempt to make their own sequel, they decide to take matters into their own hands, making their new source material for the Stab movies of the future. They plan to kill everyone and frame Sam as the killer, which will hopefully breathe new life into the franchise. Sam is the perfect one to frame, since she suffers from hallucinations, and Sydney is the one to kill her biological father. After stabbing Sydney, Amber tries to find Tara. Sam then reveals she untied Tara, which makes the plan of Amber and Richie complicated, to say the least. Tara ends up attacking Amber, while Sam bites Richie. Sydney and Gale are able to overpower Amber, who is set on fire on the stove. Meanwhile, Richie is trying to find Sam, who is badly hurt at this point in the film. Sam, using Amber's knife, repeatedly stabs Richie, leaving him for dead. The group then reconciles, but are unaware that something unexpectedly always happens. Lo and behold, Amber, a burnt-up mess, comes rushing to the group, but Tara stops her dead in her tracks, shooting her, putting an end to this reboot. The twins are still alive all along with Tara. They are taken to the hospital. Sam thanks Sydney and Gale for their help, and Gale has decided instead of covering this new chapter of the Woodsboro murders, she decides to write a memoir as a tribute to Dewey. Make sure to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and leave a comment down in the comments section below.